Welcome to Wine Chats with Bildo and Lindalin. My name is Billy Milovanovic, aka Bildo.
And my name's Lindsay Kirkwood, also known as Lindalin.
And this is an offensively funny podcast about drinking wine and chatting life. Hope you enjoy.
Come on, Bill, into our new little setup. A different spot on the couch. How
Look at our little corner. I really hope that as I was walking towards the corner, you didn't see my butt like you did in the test videos we did. Well, I mean, I'm not the most attractive today. I'm attractive all the time.
Billy, people love track pants. What are you talking about?
It's a track pack kind of day.
Track pack?
God. This is going to be a really fun podcast episode. What are we talking about today,
We
Lindy?
say that every episode.
It's always a bit shaky at the start.
Is it? Yeah.
Is it?
Today we're going to talk about, speaking of shaky things, like shaky, shady,
Sure.
Screens and kids.
Screens and kids.
Like iPhones, iPads, those type of screens.
Do we include TVs and screens?
Well, look, I mean, technically, yes, but
Because that's going to blow me and my kids right out.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, I'm not going to bring that up because if I took away the TV from my kids, like, ew, what would, like, I'd have to parent.
What would we do?
Like, yeah, you'd have to parent and
how
talk
would I
to your
spend my
kids.
time?
Yeah, right? No, like, devices.
Yes, okay, sure.
Because we're still in parent month.
Wow.
Parent?
We're in parent month, everyone.
Parenthood month.
Good, Lenny.
Right,
yes,
I got
we're
it
in
out.
parenthood month. I think screens is a huge thing that we're all thinking about, and I have some conspiracy theory views on it.
Of course you do.
But before we get into that,
Let's add wine to our vocabulary issues. Great.
I will pre-warn that I haven't really had a lot of food. I had a broth today. So this is going to get extra fun for all of us involved.
Wow,
I think.
you had a broth.
Well, I showed up to Lindsay's house. She was already eating a breakfast. She did not prepare me one.
I offered you it
but
and you said no.
What she was
Ew.
offering was kind of weird. Frank, we're recording a podcast here. Do you mind? Well, we are drinking what I know. Lindsay's going to give you all the bits and pieces because she actually knows information about this wine. But I get excited about it because...
Oh, why?
Because of Daniel Ricciardo.
Well,
I'm a huge fan.
But should we wait until my dog stops barking?
Oh, he's fine.
There, is he? Frank,
Fine.
you're pissing me off. He's a good guard dog. Yes, this is super exciting because Daniel Ricciardo's I always want to say D3R, but it's DR3. Like, think of his
Daniel
name.
Ricciardo. Yes, yeah.
I get it, his number. But you're a huge, like, Formula One fan. Well, you were when you watched the doco.
There was a documentary. Yeah. I spent a few years watching actual races. And now it's started to become like noise in the background again. Because the cars are like,
yeah, I know. I used to watch it with my ex-boyfriend.
That's why we dumped him.
Yeah, no,
right?
Well, because he wouldn't propose. Thanks.
Even worse.
Let's do an episode on that.
Pretty sure we already did that.
Oh, did we? Probably. Therapy. So Daniel Ricciardo. So he's collaborated with St. Hugo wine. I never know if there's an S on the end of that, if it's St. Hugo or St. Hugo's wine. St. Hugo wine. It released in Australia at the end of March 27th, to be precise. It will be released globally later this year.
Oh, wait for it. Fit the globe.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I'm like, ooh, what fun fact are you going to say?
Nope, just wait for the wine.
When we put the post up, we'll put the link of where you can buy it in Australia. So we've got it, I should say it's the Shiraz.
Yes.
We had the Cab Sav last time.
Amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
my God.
He can do no wrong by me. Like, seriously.
Well, I think really this part is more like the winemaker of
Don't worry about
St.
that bit.
Hugo.
Like, we're all really just drinking this to get a little taste of Daniel Ricciardo. Are we not?
True.
Right?
But before we taste this, because we obviously haven't tried it, the Cab Sav was so freaking delicious.
Yeah, scrum delicious. It's true.
Like, it's a cool name and it's a bloody good wine.
Now, because we've been doing this podcast for almost 4 years and I've learned a huge amount about wine, I'm going to predict that it's too late for the color because I knew it was going to be a deeper color, but obviously the taste is going to be so much richer.
But I'm actually, like, this color is, like, super
Seriously,
pretty.
It's beautiful. Look at this. It's like a deep, you can't see through it. It's like a deep magenta-y, purpley.
It just looks so inviting to swim in. Okay, so we're putting the bottle out of shot because...
Smelling it. Smells delicious. Smells like rich and full-bodied.
Ooh, those tannins.
Oh, yeah, girl. That oak. That French oak.
We're just whipping out any wine-related word.
I mean, I have some floaties in mind, but I don't know if that's like, is that supposed to be?
Yes. No, that's fine. That's like the, stuff on the bottom.
Tannins. Oh, God.
Oh, Daniel.
She is.
So sorry.
Sorry, Dan. Yeah.
Did you say Dan?
Danny. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah. No, that's not how you sniff it.
You're making me laugh. It's really strong.
Really?
It's really strong.
No, it's a Shiraz. Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. Honestly, it's been a really long time since we've had a Shiraz.
Well, for you.
And didn't I predict prior to this that it's going to be really full-bodied and rich? Mm-hmm. It is. It's really strong. And it tastes like a Shiraz. It's like a really rich Shiraz. Oh, but you drink wine. Tell them what you think.
Well, no, it's strong, yes, because, it's a Shiraz. But it's so, I don't like the strong wines that coat your tongue afterwards. Those really dry,
Yes, true.
Whoa, that's really hard to drink. I don't find those ones enjoyable for me. This does not have that, but it still has the boldness and strength of a Shiraz.
Good for you.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
My
My first
yummy
sip
to drink. Can I finish talking? Can I finish talking?
Have you not done that yet? My first sip was a little bit bitey, but now it's getting better.
I'm upset. I got to keep the Cab Sav. You get to keep the Shiraz, and I'm very disappointed. Anyways, let's move on.
She says that while she rolls her eyes. Meanwhile, it's a corked bottle. How am I going to take this home?
What do you mean? You stick the cork back in it. It won't be fully down. Bill, you moron.
Well, that would have worked if I didn't throw the cork away. True story.
You actually threw the cork.
I did. I don't know what I thought it was. Okay, can we move on to the episode?
Yes. Oh my God.
People don't want to hear about how dumb I am. Okay, go on.
Okay, well, look, a few quick little stats. Should you start? I don't even know what stats you looked up. Did you look up?
I looked stuff up.
Okay.
I found a really great website that talks about, because we do research, that talks about screen safety for kids.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be honest, point you in that direction because sure, I can read out a few things, but really we all want to be doing our own, everybody has different rules in their family. So I'm just saying e-safety parents, there's an e-safety commissioner. It's all through the Australian government, sorry. And it's basically advice for parents and carers to help kids stay safe online. But there's a bunch of stuff, obviously, like about children under 5, cyberbullying, gaming, and all that sort of stuff. And I just found that really, really handy. Look, sending nudes and sexting. It just gives you advice about all that good stuff to keep your kids safe. Now, how well you follow that?
Yeah.
Because we all know basically you shouldn't let kids under 2 have screens.
Yeah.
You should limit screens for kids under whatever the fuck, 7, all this sort of shit. How much you do that is kind of up to you.
Well, yeah, because when I was looking up some, is that it? Is that your research?
Well, I mean, I could go into detail. I didn't think you were going to throw me straight into it. Normally you start with the stats.
Well, I do,
and then I elaborate with my shit facts.
I was just really wanting to enjoy the wine and listen to you ramble on.
And then I have some personal stories that I would like to share. We can do that in the next part.
We don't need to give them the rundown of the whole episode.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, well, I was just looking for few not dangerous, but dangerous and bad side effects of kids being on screens, right?
Yes.
Which we anybody with a brain in their head, you know them. But one quick fact that I found that I wasn't actually looking for. Hold on to your whatever you've got on under those beautiful Trek pants. 40% of 3-month-olds and 90% of 2-year-olds are regularly watching screens. This is Australian.
I'm so glad I held my pants on for that.
I'm the 3-month-old?
Are we just including mum watching TV and the baby being on the floor while she does that? I mean, not on the mum is supervising.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah,
but is that what you think is happening? Because I doubt that. I hope society. I hope that you are not giving your under 3-month-olds a screen, iPad to watch while they.
Well, I don't think it is an iPad, but even did you turn the TV on for your baby?
Not for my baby. I was watching TV because I'm a little bit of an addict.
Yeah, but that's different. But
I wasn't putting my baby in front of the TV and being hey Dougie. That was because how can they comprehend? There's no sense in putting. What's the point of?
The music, I guess, and the. I don't know. Just when I randomly came across it because I wasn't looking for stats like that, and I was like, that's mind-boggling.
But this is where and I'm sure you have lots more stats we're going to get into, but I'm going to interject here a little bit with it's not a conspiracy theory per se, but it's obvious that screens are here to stay. All the things that would have come out about screens and screen dangers when screens were first the big thing, and we're talking devices were a thing, obviously valid. Oh my God, there's a fly.
Yeah. Ew.
Those concerns are absolutely valid. Don't get me wrong, and absolutely, you shouldn't give screens to kids under 2. You shouldn't give them under 5. You should limit all that. Absolutely, sure. In a perfect world, that all works well. We all know we're not doing it. And society is changing. So our kids, what we're worried about them losing all these skills and not being able to do all this stuff because of screens. I want to know what the actual dangers they are saying.
Yeah, it's actually not about that stuff that you just said.
Okay,
it's
go
more
on.
So kids 5 to 17 years old, screen time may have negative effects on weight and diet. Okay, because they're just sitting there being lazy.
Yep. Get a Wii Nintendo. That'll work them out.
A Wii?
A Wii, a
Wii. I thought you said a Wii. I'm pretty sure it's not called that. Okay. So behavioral problems, anxiety, hyperactivity, attention span, right? Self-esteem, and psychosocial health. Do you know what psychosocial health is?
No. I get being healthy in society.
Well, do you know what? No. Because I had to look that up. I'm like, I've never heard that term.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of their mental, emotional, social, and spiritual health. So it's a combination,
right?
Like an umbrella term, if you will. So there's a lot of obviously negative effects mentally and emotionally from having too much screen time. I think any parent knows that, but I think that's with the excessive use of them.
Yes,
I've got a 9-year-old boy. He's on Roblox all the time.
Yep.
Yes, I limit it, but is that going to cause him? And this is a general question, when it's too much for him to be on there where he's going to have anxiety and mental issues?
Again, great question. And do you let him have the chat function on it?
Let's get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Ooh, the suspense. Okay. The only other, because I didn't want to bring in a lot of stats because I think it's more what you were saying, personal situation and all that kind of stuff. So kids who spend 7 hours, and this is the other thing. Who the fuck? I guess maybe this is teenage kids. 7 hours a day.
And are we saying 7 hours a day? Because again, mobile phones are a device, right? So if they have they have a screen. So I could see that 7 hours. It sounds ludicrous, but 7 hours builds up really quickly.
I guess so. So they're twice likely more to show signs of anxiety and depression. Now,
I can see why.
I can see why too, and I'm gonna because I always go to the morbid
oh god,
stuff.
Here we go. Trigger
warning. Trigger warning.
This kid,
suicide, 100%. Because I am such a paranoid parent. When I read things like this, and you have to be living under a rock if suicide isn't in your realm of thinking as a parent in these days. Really,
scary but true.
So many kids are literally killing themselves, and I'm so sorry to say that. If it sounds insensitive, but it really is happening. Factually, it's happening. Yes. So I keep thinking, I'm well, where and how do you find the signs where it's gone to that point where it's too far, where something might happen? Where this is a story, again, trigger warning. I was talking to a fellow mom.
Right.
She was telling me a story of a suicidal situation in
how old are these kids? Bane's age?
High school. No,
high school.
High school. Yep. So high school here, I can't remember what grade the child was in, but high school here can start from grade 5. Right. But I think he was grade 9, 8, 9, proper high school. And his mom, this is a true story. His mom told him, get off of that device. You've been on there too long. Go outside and play. Now, I don't know the backstory. He could have been dealing with mental health issues before. There could have been other issues, whatever.
Right.
He literally went outside, and I'm not going to get into the details because it's just too gory, and killed himself.
What the fuck?
And this is okay. And this is what I know. It sounds really shitty and insensitive that I'm bringing it up, but it actually, and I'm going to start to cry now because it's so fucking scary.
It's a real fucking concern.
And if you don't know the backstory, which obviously we don't, I don't know what was happening in his life. Maybe he was struggling with something else, but I say that to Bane, and even though he's 9, I'm what are the signs that I need to be looking for?
Yeah.
That you need to be looking for?
Yeah, that we all need to be looking for. I don't know, and that's the thing. It's you have to police it, and you have to put the time and effort into it to make sure that you know your kid. And how many of us really do that? That's the thing. We know in theory this is what needs to happen. You know, in theory, a 3-month-old baby shouldn't have screens, and yet they're surrounded by them.
Yeah.
You know, in theory, that, you know, under 2 years old as well, their brain's developing at that time, that you know, shouldn't be force feeding them stuff. We all do it. We've all done it.
Yeah.
I think society is obviously changing. It's developing. Screens are here to stay. This is what I was kind of saying before. Like, I think that we're going to have to learn how to develop with it.
Yeah.
And our children's children are going to have a totally different life to what, you know, like for them, you know, 2 hours of screens is going to be funny because I think it's always going to be screens.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is.
It's terrifying that we don't know enough about what's happening in our children's lives, that they can go and do that without us even having an inkling that this person is in trouble. Like, what they're seeing online is fucking terrifying to me. It is terrifying what these kids are coming across, the predators that are out there. Like you said, you don't know the backstory, but we also don't know that this kid hasn't been chatting with people online who are encouraging him to hurt himself.
Yes.
I think the internet is a cesspool of freaks. I actually stole that line from David from Schitt's Creek. I love you, David. I know, I love you, David. And it is so true. It is a place where it can be a fun space. It can be a safe space. It can be all that shit. But generally speaking, it is a terrifying place to be.
Yep.
We cannot possibly protect our children from what they see online because they're not going to share some of the stuff with us. And I have a little story about that in our next bit.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just, it's a terrifying thought that we really can't, like, it's a really hard thing to protect your kids from unless you just do the whole, like, no screens, or, you know, you control everything that they're looking at on their phones, but then where's their privacy as well? Yeah. So it's like this really fine line.
And they're so tricky these days. They can control
100%. They're so much smarter than us when it comes to online stuff.
For sure.
They know exactly.
Especially us too.
Right? Yeah, like they're so much smarter than us because they're growing up with this technology, and their brains are wired in a different way to be able to think in these technological terms, which we're like, what the fuck is that? You know? So
and it's a range of, like, I know we're talking about the bad stuff right now, but like it's a range of bad stuff, because when I was Googling stories, so a church going family, they raised her daughter. This happened a decade ago. So screens were more like just kind of new on that.
Not as prominent.
You know. And the rule was no social platforms. So she had no social platforms. But then she snuck a social platform. Her brother found her on that, ratted her out. And so her parents took away her computer. But in that short period of time, it was a very short period of time, a crazy person lured her in. He was 27. She was 14. He, over 8 months, like coaxed her, whatever, like, what's the word? Groomed her. He ended up meeting her at a hotel. He raped her, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So she ended up opening up to her mom.
Jesus.
Thank God, right? They went to the police. She became massively depressed.
Of course, because doing something like that at 14.
Right, and going through that
process.
And even she told her parents, and her parents were supportive for her, and like they got her help. She went on antidepressants. She still took her life because it was just too much for her to handle.
Too much. You remember being a teenager. I know it was a really long time ago for you, Lindsay, but when I was a teenager, I remember it quite vividly.
Only 2 decades instead of 4.
Yeah, right? It's a difficult time.
Yeah.
The best teenagers. And I was like the best teenager. I'm 100% like a hand on heart.
Yeah.
I was very close to my mom. I had a very close relationship with my family. I was terrified of the outside world. I was really very straighty 180 kind of nerdy kid. And I still had moments where I was totally confused, totally hate my parents, totally hated myself, like all that stuff that every single teenager goes through.
Now
add on top of that, people telling you, like, when we were on TikTok just recently, we had a really bad like live TikTok experience, and honestly, it has put me off TikTok and just life in general. How much have I been like, no, let's just cut out TikTok altogether?
I know,
because we were on live and we had some profile come through. So this person has gone ahead, or this computer program, whatever it was, has created 1 million accounts under the same kind of name. It was Amelia something. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember.
And they are going on people's lives saying things like, you should kill yourself, you should do this, you should do that, you're so fat, you're so ugly, like giving these hideous comments. Yeah. Now imagine we're 2 grown-ass women who can say to ourselves, this is not
like
a good
laugh
thing.
It off.
We can laugh it off and be like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
Imagine being a fucking kid. And we know kids are on TikTok. We know kids are on Snapchat. We know that they're so like open to these fucking hideous people.
And they're so vulnerable. And this is what scares the crap out of me.
It's a terrifying place to be.
Okay, let's take a break from this terrifying negative. When we come back, we're going to tell you
more terrible stories. Sorry.
No.
I know. The story I have to tell is terrible.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I don't have any more terrible tragedies stories to tell. Tragic stories to tell, yes.
Just wrap it up. Wrap it up, Lenny.
Beep, beep, okay. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, no, we don't do that. That was like 2 seasons ago, Bill. Okay, so even though I said we'd lighten it up, Billy has one more tragic story, and then can we like just...
Well, it's not tragic.
Oh, good. Okay.
I don't know how to set this up. Anyway, let me just tell you the story and you decide. Okay, you put your label on it. I was groomed when I was a kid.
Oh, what?
100%.
You have not... Pause. You have never told me this.
Well, that's because it never came up. And I'm glad I didn't tell you because look at this reaction, everybody. You're seeing it live just like me. Yes. And like, again...
So many
Thankfully,
questions.
I was a very, like, again, very mummy's girl, very close to my parents, I was, like in a safe kind of home where I felt safe.
Right.
But the internet back in 1990, if I can.
Yeah, I was going to say, what, like, how
so
old
the internet literally just would have come out. So I was about like 11 or 12.
Oh my God. Okay.
I know that I was on the internet quite a bit at that stage. I had even started a little blog. I don't know if it was a blog or what it was. But it was,
did anybody know what it was back then?
No, but people wrote into me. So I don't even know where I posted this stuff. But it was called like School Can Be Cruel. And I even put up a thing saying, hey, if you like are not like loving school, if you want some advice or some support, like write to me, let me know. And I literally had people writing into me being like, I'm being bullied and this and that. And then I would solve their problems. I don't know how I did this at like literally 11 or 12.
I have so many questions. Okay.
So here we are in Wine Chats 20 years later. So 30, 40 years later.
40,
30,
please.
30.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so then I would go to these like little like little game chat rooms. So you would play poker and then chat with people or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I had met a friend and I was chatting with him, whether it was on AOL or whatever the fuck it was at that time. And slowly he would start to say things like, like, why don't you take your clothes off? So this is somebody I thought was my age. He presented himself as somebody as my age or maybe a little bit older, like a 14-year-old or something when I was 12.
God, yes.
And so then he would start saying to me, like, can you, like, take your top off or something? And I'd be like, yes, I've done it. Of course I haven't.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh my God, you didn't actually do it.
No, because again, like I said, I was established, I was safe, I was good, I was a very like close to my family. So I didn't feel the need, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't vulnerable in that regard.
But you knew it was wrong and
I
weird.
Knew it was,
okay.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And so he would be like, take off your shirt. And I'd be like, okay. Didn't do it. And he was like, take off your pants now. And I'd be like, okay. Of course I didn't do it. I was just sitting at my computer.
Yeah.
And then, he would ask me to touch myself and stuff. And I was like, this is so weird. Like in my head, I knew it was weird and wrong or whatever. Anyway, kept talking to him for a little while. And then he ended up, I don't know how, whether I
have questions.
Him.
You know me and stories like this. Like how long were these conversations going on
honestly
for?
Couldn't tell you, but it would have been a few months that I was talking to him.
Wow.
It was definitely a few months.
Like in this context?
No, first it started normal.
Okay. Yeah.
Like he's just a kid. And then eventually he kind of, again, this is what grooming is.
100%,
they start easy. They don't come to you and be like, oh, hey, take your clothes off. Immediately you would block that person. But they start to be nice to you. They tell you they're your age. Same, right?
Yep.
100% would have been a few months. And then the way it stopped, and whether I had can you not do footsies with me right now? This is weird.
Sorry.
Yeah, please. No, I didn't call the police because how would you even find somebody back then? Anyway, no, I must have called it out eventually. I must have said something like something where he ended up admitting to me that he was a 40-year-old man. So, and this story just flashed up to me this morning when I was like reading stuff about what we're going to do today. But it was like...
So wait, you said to him, calling you out, dumbass, and then...
I don't remember how it happened. I was like 12 years old.
So he actually admitted it? Well, funny that he didn't just end up ghosting you. Like, it's funny that
I know, but that's the thing. I don't think that sort of stuff was... I think he was genuinely like looking to be like a little rapey motherfucker.
Yeah, of course.
And I think he was genuinely looking for a connection with a young girl. Right. And then I think he said it to me in like but now that we've built this relationship, like I actually think he told me himself. I actually think he was like, I need to tell you something. I'm like a 40-year-old man or something.
Ew.
And then I was like, ew.
Did you tell your mom?
I don't think I did.
Does Yasna know about this?
I don't think I did.
Does Tom know about this?
No, I wouldn't have told my parents.
Tom would have.
That is what happens when you're for kids when that's their private world, right? Yeah. And that's what's terrifying. Mm-hmm. I've also did you ever? Well, let's take it lighthearted because no, my parents wouldn't have known.
They do.
But did you? When did the internet come for you? How old were you when the internet showed up?
I honestly don't know.
You would have been, I reckon, like late teens, probably like early 20s. No, it wouldn't have been that
I 100%, my memory is failing me. I'm so old.
And it's South River, so everything came about 10 years later.
I was about to say, and from where I grew up, like it would have taken ages. I honestly don't remember.
Well, see,
like it wasn't, to interrupt you, sorry. It wasn't like a thing when I was in high school. Like I don't remember being on social media platforms at all.
I don't remember being on social media until really MySpace came out.
Yeah, like is that the Hotmail one? Like the MSN Messenger, whatever it was?
No, MySpace is like an actual website, like your own website that you had, and then you can change the background and you can change the font and you can put up music so when people get onto your page, it starts playing music and it has like this. Yeah, it was really beautiful. Right, okay. Obviously didn't work out. Lindsay doesn't know about it. But I remember also searching up porn. Did you ever? I totally was one of those kids.
Tom and Yasna.
That looked up porn. And I don't know. I don't think I was doing it as I want to get off. It was more like out of curiosity.
Right. Okay.
So it would have been like, again, like that same age. I remember it being in the same house. So it must have been all that same sort of like time that the internet first came out. And then I remember being so like, having this moment of panic where I was like, oh my fucking God, what if my parents get the bill and see all the websites?
Yes. Because you don't know how it works.
Well, because back in the day, you know, your histories, all that, you don't know how. And so I remember going downstairs to my mum and dad and being like, oh my God, I have to check, like I have to ask, but I'm terrified. So I get, how clever am I? I was always a clever cookie, you guys. So I went downstairs to them and I was like, hey, I'm trying to find a website that I looked up last week, but I can't remember what it was. When the bills come, do you get like a list of all the websites just so I can...
So smart.
How fucking smart was I? And my mum and dad were like, no, it doesn't show that. And I was like, oh, bummer. And then I went upstairs and I was like...
And then, man on man.
Right? Big fat penis.
Oh, stop. Back then it would have been like... big hairy penis or big ball.
Guys, let's face it. Like kids were so innocent back then. I was probably Googling Kiwis and vajayjays.
I have barely even looked up porn as an adult, let alone a 12-year-old.
Girlfriend, you're missing out.
I am. Okay, back to kids. God.
Anyway, back to kids. The internet is terrifying.
Yeah, it is terrifying. I feel like I need to say I'm sorry that you were groomed.
I was fine.
I've never heard that story.
Look, I think for a kid who's never had any adversity in their lives, that would be like a traumatic experience. I had kind of come from already traumatic experiences. So to me, that was kind of like fun and funny because I'm like, I'm obviously never going to meet this person. I'm obviously never going to, like this person cannot hurt me or impact me. So it was a bit of fun for me.
I know, but
it's
scary how easy.
It's terrifying how easy it is. It's terrifying how much easier it would be nowadays.
Mm. Oh God, yeah.
And it's terrifying knowing that information even back then that now we have 5-6-year-olds. My kid plays Roblox.
Yes, I was going to say, let's
Roblox?
say, Roblox. Let's talk about Roblox because like it's back in the news. I know it's been around forever. I get it. There's like 45 million people. I read about it last night.
Crazy.
Like I think 45 million people that play it or something. Like it's ridiculous. I get it. But I find the whole like parental settings and safety settings actually very confusing.
Right.
And like I wish, and maybe there is a function to this because you were asking me like, do I let my kids chat on it? And yes, I do with their friends, but then you can't actually just chat with just your friends. And if there's a way, please DM us because I have looked a gazillion times and I thought I changed Ada's to just her friends.
Yes.
But she couldn't message Charlie, her friend. She's got like 3 friends. And they're they have the rule, like you can't friend someone that you don't know. Like 100%. It has to be like somebody you actually know. And I normally message their mom saying, it's Charlie on Roblox. What's her username? Just so I know for sure that it's Charlie and not whatever.
That's clever, Lenny. Good job. There's a tip.
I'm so clever. Yeah, seriously. Well, when they're that young, like my kids are 5, 7, and 9.
Because the only person my kid has on Roblox is her cousin and Ada.
Yes.
And we had already messaged about it, so I never thought to myself, I'll message her and see what the username is.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But try it because with the messaging, so when I changed it to her friends, Ada's like, I can't message Charlie. So I don't know if there's a function where you can just message your actual friends.
Look, I don't know. And now that I realize that Eve and Ada have been chatting, because I turned off Eve's ability to chat.
Yes.
Completely. I'm like, I don't even fucking care. Yeah. And anytime anybody tries to add her, she tells me straight away and I block them.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works with the messenger.
No,
because if you turn off the chat, then she can't obviously be.
She can't.
But there's also then in Roblox, like with the chat, you can obviously minimize it, and so it's not on your screen coming through as messages.
Okay.
And so if that's the case, then I must have opened the chat up so she can talk to Ada, but then minimize the chat so she can't see it coming through with a bazillion messages.
See, it's so confusing.
Does Ada's have like a little message box that you can see people chatting?
I think it just comes up on the screen, or at least Bane's just comes up on the screen. And see, this is
so
my
you can
fault,
minimize that,
where I actually need to play around with it more.
And in all honesty, and I think this is what's really difficult with life nowadays and parenting, is that you have to be so vigilant. Like you have to actively be, and if you drop the ball, that's where the trouble. You know what I mean? And but keeping the ball up is really hard as well. Like it's not an easy thing to.
Well, and it's not just one little toggle, like turn that off or turn that on.
They make it difficult.
Like
it's so
they
true.
make it difficult, and I get it. Like technology these days, whatever. But I just find it really confusing. And I wish there was just one little toggle, like you chat with your friends and your friends are just your friends. And maybe, like I keep saying, maybe there is, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel really kind of like, oh shit, like, should I just be turning that off? Oh, and then Bane, he plays this card game.
Right.
Where he's like, but I need to chat to the people playing because they have to ask me if I can race them and if they can race me and all this kind of stuff. And like I say to him, you know that you can only chat about the game. Like if anybody says anything to you about anything other than the race, like come and show me. Like you're not in trouble. Just come and show me. He's like, yeah. But it's like, oh God, like
will he?
Will he? Exactly. Because
it starts off with, oh, hey, I like your avatar. You know what I mean? And then it just slides into, hey, take your pants off and touch yourself. You know, like it really does. Like it actually just 100%. Goes that quickly. Yes.
100% it does.
Because if you build a trusting relationship with a kid, they'll be like, oh, well, this is okay. I'll do that. Like it's fucked. It's how scarily like and easily it can happen.
That was another story. I'm not going to get into it. It was a 9-year-old boy and it was on Roblox and it did not end well. Like and I'm like, this is so close to home. And like a part of you just wants to be like, scrap it all. No devices, no internet, no nothing. But then it's like...
But you can't live like that either because it's like they do it for school, right? They use their iPads for school. They use all of that stuff. Like the technology is here to stay. But it is also like, it's such a dangerous place for kids and it terrifies me. And I know like Roblox, for example, is like 13 plus.
Yeah, but...
Nobody's doing that.
And this is the other thing with Roblox. So yeah, it's 13 plus. But when you put in your birth date and you put your actual birthday in, like date in... It should automatically go, you're not allowed to play. Yeah. Like Van's 5.
Yeah.
I put his actual birthday in there because they say don't lie on the birth date.
And it also asks you like whether you want content for like +6 or below 6 or something like
9.
that. 9. Right. I remember that. There was some sort of...
There should be more toggles. More toggles to safely put in.
Yes. We need more toggles.
And if it's for 13 plus, why are 5-year-olds able to play?
Game makers don't care.
But they should.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like, I don't want to get into the whole, like, society sucks, but it's just like, it's all about money, isn't it? Like, people don't care about kids anymore. Like, nobody cares about actually making this world safe for the children.
And then there's, well, yes and no. I kind of...
Nobody.
Okay, nobody. And I get a lot of parents would probably be like, well, just don't let them play Roblox, you know.
But you fucking try that with your 6-year-old who's coming up to you, or 7, sorry.
Well, and it's kind of like for Bane, he loves cars and he loves building them and trading them and racing them. And like on Roblox.
And when Roblox, the thing about Roblox is if you're not on there and you don't understand it, like Eve has never looked at a car city. Yeah. It's like they're basically like games within a game.
Yeah. And they get to play with their friends.
And they get to play with their friends. And so Eve is constantly like building herself houses and giving herself unicorn outfits. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it can be like, it's basically whatever your imagination takes you to, there is a place for it on Roblox.
Yeah. Which is, continue on.
That's kind of it.
No.
You kind of came in at a perfect time there.
Right. Great. And that's what I've heard as well.
Yes.
Like it's actually a very creative space with a lot of fucking creeps, but it can be very creative and like good
when it works perfectly, it's perfect. Like if it was a place where my kid can go and speak to other unicorn loving 7-year-olds, great.
Like Ada.
But a lot of those unicorn loving 7-year-olds are like creepy 40-year-olds. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and how do you decide? You can't decide. Everything's so anonymous. It's terrifying.
It is. Okay. So funny little, well, actually,
go pick it up a little.
Well, a funny little story. Like, so do you give your kids money on Roblox
or any games? No, I don't give my kids money for anything.
Same. Except Bane, I agree.
Oh, see, I know, but Bane is different because he's older and I'm not in that realm yet.
Yeah, he's almost 10. Yes. So he's been asking for money and I'm like, no, I'm not going down this rabbit hole. No money. But then he earned some money and he's like, can I buy a Robux? They're called Robux, like gift card. So like
So he got money for himself, like a birthday money or something.
Yeah.
And he wanted to buy it to give it to the internet.
Yes. And I'm like, dude, if that's what you want to waste your money on, that's up to you, right? And secretly, sure. I'm like, sweet, not another stupid RC that's going to like be around my house,
I don't know what an RC is.
A remote control.
Oh
my God, you've got girls. So I'm like, fine, whatever. So he bought it and he buys car parts with it, right? And cars. Yeah. Seriously, this kid's obsessed. But he's now at that age where like kids want money on games and I know of 2 kids that have like stolen their parents' money to put on the system. I know. And kids are fucking crafty. Like what you were saying. Like
so fucking crafty. They're so much better than us.
So they figured out how to like change passwords and like all this kind of jazz. Like the one, 80-ish bucks. Fine, whatever.
I'm mortified.
The other, like $1,700. I'm only laughing because they got the money. It's not me. It will be me one day, I'm sure. Yeah, they got the money back, but like, right? I don't even know what to say.
I don't even know what to say. Like, really, because I know my kids are capable. We're all capable of it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not that smart, but they like kids are. So kids I'm like, are so capable. My God.
Like they are, yes.
So not only do you have to like watch all these security settings on the games and within the games, but you have to watch your freaking Apple Pay as well and your credit card statements.
It's actually just, this is what's terrifying about it, because we're parenting. I mean, and I'm sure parents of every generation have said the same thing about their kids, but we're dealing with something we just don't understand, and they understand it better than us. And so we need to level up in our education about it, but fucking good luck with that between work and keeping him alive and feeding him and doing all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that we're busy and that we have all this stuff we have to do.
But you have to make the time.
But you genuinely have to make the time. Yeah. And it's like you genuinely have to build relationships with your kids. I know that sounds really dumb and condescending in terms of information.
You have to talk to them.
But you have to talk to them. Like what we were talking about last week. Like you have to give them that space to tell you all their boring fucking stories. It might be boring to you, but you have to take that time to understand what your child is doing so that you can actually like be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Because if you're not, fucking kids are just going to feel like so alone and not...
Or, okay, we're going to wrap it up because we only have a few minutes left, but I have a funny story to end, a quick funny story. And this is why it's important for your kids to talk to you so you can correct them.
Oh, no.
So I picked up Bane and 2 of his friends. So there's 3 9-year-olds in my car plus my other 2 kids. Fun. And so like, fun, loud, everyone shut the fuck up. And somebody made a noise and I said, oh, stop moaning or something. Or I said moan or moaning, whatever. I can't remember. And the 3 older boys start giggling. And I'm like, what? And they're like, moan, what are you, gay? What? Now, I'm quoting them. This is not me. And I'm like, what? That's what I'm... Who's speaking in the back seat?
Not what I thought it was going.
Exactly. Who's so dumb back there? I'm like, moan? Moan doesn't mean gay. They're like, yeah, moan means gay. I'm like, well, what is moan? And so they're all making moaning noises. And I'm like... This is not what I thought you would think. And I'm like, boys, moaning, whatever you want to say, does not mean gay. Who told you that? Do you know what they said?
Oh, God. What did they say?
It's very disturbing. YouTube. So YouTube told them, I don't know what they were watching.
That moaning is gay?
Moaning?
The gay people moan? Or
no, moan. The word moan means gay.
Are we so old that we've missed the whole trend?
I don't know, but thank fuck they told me that. And I'm like, boys. But what
is wrong with being gay, boys?
Well, no, they didn't. No, they weren't. The gay issue was being gay wasn't even the issue or the topic. It was moaning means gay. If you moan, you're gay, Billy. The things 9-year-olds teach you. Or YouTube.
Let me get out of here.
Oh, are you gay? Are you moaning?
Clearly. Lindsay, I've been trying to get you on OnlyFans this whole time.
It's never going to happen.
I'm sorry if this has traumatized you. How do we wrap this up?
Just moan in the mic and
people
will turn it off. Yeah.
Just
good.
Bye.
I'm leaving.
Talk to your kids and stuff. Thank you for joining us for this latest episode of Wine Chats podcast with Bildo and Lindalin. You can find us on our socials on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and you can listen to us on any favorite podcasting app or watch on YouTube.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, review, comment, send us some love. We absolutely love it.
Chat soon. Come on, Lenny. Chat soon.
Chat soon.
Chat soon.
We're not putting this in.
Come on.
Okay, we'll add in chat soon at the end. Both of us?
Yeah, go
okay.
on.
Chat soon.